Okay, in this third unit, we're going to be looking at how you find a researchable topic. And there are several parts of that. In this first take, we'll look at societal considerations. Then we'll talk about design considerations. And then about the theoretical foundation on which the work is built. And finally, in the last video, about how to identify a research gap or goal. And again, you may wonder, why do I need to think about this? Well, if you look at the structure of an introduction of most research articles, it includes the motivation for doing the research, the current work and the limitations of that work, the theoretical foundation the work is built on, and then the research gap or goal. And in iGEM, the motivation is related to the human practices. Why do we want to do this? The current work, the limitations, the theoretical foundation, that's related to the work of dry lab and wet lab. And again, all of this leads to a single research goal for the group. So we'll be talking about these four topics in order throughout this unit.
Now let me talk about how to find a research gap. It's very much like how to prepare a meal for a group of audience for a special occasion. So you have to think about what is the occasion and who are you going to serve? What are you good at making? And what ingredients do you have? Now let's start with the ingredients. The ingredients are very much like what you know, what skills you have, what kind of equipment is available to you, and so on. For example, if for a psycholinguist in my department, they have various labs. But for a social linguist, I don't have a lab. My lab is in the society, in the community, in the field. So you can see the ingredients are different for different places, for different departments too. And I also need to find out what research articles are available. Are they written in local languages, in Chinese, or are they written in English? So all these different ingredients, whether they are readily available from our library or not. Also, all of these are my concerns when I prepare for a meal. Then the next point is what am I good at making? Then I have to look at whether my training is quantitative or qualitative. Am I good at doing experiments? Am I good at interviewing people? Am I good at doing discourse analysis? All of these concerns are important. Next, I have to consider who I am going to serve. If I am going to write a thesis or a dissertation for graduation, then I need to think about my advisor's taste and also the committee members' taste. And if I'm going to do an international competition, then I have to look at the criteria to be judged. How can I get gold medal? And then I have to decide what is the occasion. So is this occasion a one-time thing, like, international competition? All your effort should demonstrate at that moment. Then your concern is different from a research paper for a final term paper for a course. So all of these are your concerns, especially if your topic is something catered to a small group of people who are concerned about endangered species, conservation of endangered languages or cultures. That's a very specific topic catered toward a very small group of people. But if this is teaching English as a second language, you can see it's a very popular topic. It can be applied to various occasions. So your concerns for research gap for these different topics should be different too. Basically, there are 3 challenges. My students usually come up with some research topics and ask me, are they okay? Then 3 questions. Number 1, some readers may say, I know it already. What's new? So this has to be something better, something new, something innovative, something that nobody has ever done. Number 2, they look at the paper. Oh, I don't believe it. So, what about your methodology? Is it rigorous enough? Is your data collection accurate, precise, and reliable so that people can put trust in your results? Number 3, people can say, I don't care. Oh, that's really devastating. If they say, I don't care, it's like you give them a product. They say, I don't like it. I want something else. Then you have to come up with sales pitch to convince them why they should care, why this is relevant to their lives too. Next, when you think about all these research gaps, doing research, doing a project, you have to consider 3 things. Number 1, is it doable? You usually only have 1 year, sometimes 3 months. You have to finish this project. It has to be feasible. It cannot be some longitudinal study which requires 3 to 5 to 10 years. No, it has to be doable. Number 2, do you want to do it? The so-called want to do ability. Are you interested in it so much? You have so much passion. You feel, oh, I just want to do it. If that's the case, then you also need to convince your team members, yes, you want to do it too. Number 3, should do ability. Is this topic so important? Sometimes it's concerning, equitability or availability of equal opportunities, or some policy has to be changed, or some politics is involved, some discrimination, some marginalization has to be corrected. Then you need to write a research project to correct all these things. So these are the 3 considerations. Finally, when you write a research project, consider these 3 goals. Number 1, what's the purpose of doing this? You say, oh, I want to make knowledge available to other people. There's something, some facts, or some observation, some results which are important to learn. Maybe number 2, this research is action-oriented. Maybe you want to empower yourself. You can be free after you do this research. You will take a different action to approach the same thing. Or you want to empower other people who have been confined or bound by something, and after reading this or participating in your research, they are free. They are set free. Number 3, maybe this is something, especially in education. After your study, you can give suggestions and advice to those policymakers, those who are empowered to read your study and make a change in their policy. So you will benefit a lot of people. Now, I'm going to give you another illustration. Happy Teacher's Day, I usually receive my students. Recently, I again, received my gift. When I open this gift, this illustration is very much like finding a research gap or cooking a meal for somebody. So when I'm presented with a gift, just like a new project, I look at this, oh, wow, there are crackers, oh, cookies, oh, preserved fruit, oh, the preserved fruit are too sticky, which is not suitable for my teeth. And the crackers, oh, too hard, too crispy, can't handle it. Oh, how about the chips? Maybe the chips are reasonable. Oh no, the chips are spicy.
Well, that's great. I'll take it.
Okay.
I like spicy, even if you don't.
All right.
So different people have different tastes, and you have to think about your audience when you're giving a gift or when you're doing research, because that makes a difference in what you give. I would enjoy these.
Let me try one too.
If you like.
Let me try one too. Never tasted spicy chips. Need some water. Thank you.
So, having talked about all these things in general, let's apply them to iGEM more particularly. The first thing that you have to look at is motivation. Why do you want to do this project? The second is benefit. Who's going to benefit from your project? So in terms of motivation, who's really interested in this? Is it one person? Is it your whole team? Did one person manage to convince your whole team? How can you interest other people outside of your team? Those are all things that you need to think about as you think about the motivation for your project. And this, again, particularly refers to human practice. And then the second is who will benefit? Not only what group in general, but most things are beneficial to some small subgroup. And so, to whom is this important? And what socioeconomic class, what language group, what age group? Does it have health benefits, economic benefits, environmental benefits? Who in particular will benefit from your work? So if we look at these for the previous 6 iGEM teams, the first product that was developed was CareIndex, Caries Index, an index for dental cavities, caries. And this was mostly applicable to lower socioeconomic classes because the higher class groups are likely to go to the dentist frequently, as they're permitted to based on the health insurance. And so their cavities will be detected early. But it's those that don't regularly go to see a dentist that would be benefited by this. And this was something that they decided needed to be available in schools rather than to individuals so the whole society could use it. And then Ligreen. Ligreen is lignin green. It was a paper cup liner that would allow the cups to be more easily recyclable because it's not plastic. And this would benefit the environment because, again, it makes recycling much easier. It's therefore also a benefit to the recyclers because it's more economically feasible. The third one was ASFAST, a test for African swine fever. And this would benefit the pork industry as well as, of course, the economy in general, since so much of Taiwan's economy depends on pork. The fourth one was Denditex, a detector for dengue fever. And this would benefit anyone living in the tropical areas where dengue fever is a problem, not just in Taiwan, but around the world. Fifth one was Mr. SA, based on the idea of MRSA, an antibiotic-resistant skin disease that's common in many hospital situations, and therefore would be beneficial to hospital patients, people with diabetes, other things that have long-term health effects that affect the skin. And the sixth one was PAC Omega, Pure Artery Care Omega, to help people with cardiovascular disease. And this again is particularly the elderly. So it's not just people in general, but each of these has benefits to a very specific group. And as you're thinking about the motivation and the benefits, it's not just the environment in general, it's not just people in general, but who in particular would be interested in your product. And so throughout the rest of this unit, we'll talk more about finding a suitable topic that will be of interest to many people and beneficial to a large part of society.